Jai Shri Radhe. Sab Vaishnav ko Jai Shri Krishna. Shri Vallabhacharya Ji Shri Gosai Ji ki Jai Ho, Sada Jai Ho, Sada Jai Ho, Sada Jai Ho. Jai Shri Radhe. Today is day 154 of our readings. We are continuing into part 1 continued of Varta number 136, the story of Meha Dimar. Part 1 continued. Meha would never leave Sri Thakurji alone. One day Meha came to Gokul in order to see Sri Gosaiji, and the next day his wife would come. They made a clay temple for the Sri Thakurji and put painted wooden doors on it. Inside they had a lovely throne for Sri Thakurji to sit on. The Lord's bed was also inside there. In the night they would close the door and take it in turns to stand guard over the temple. Meha did some farming on the banks of the Sri Yamuna river. When he went out to work, she would stand by guard by herself. In this way the two of them made very loving seva together. Some time passed in this way. One day Sri Gosaiji realized that there were only 10 days left before the Annakut festival and called all the Vaishnavas to accompany him to Srinathji Dwar. He asked which of them would be able to go. Most of them replied that they would definitely go if it was his wish. He asked 5 to 10 Vaishnavas and Vrajvasis to stay in Gokul and all the rest to go with him. At that time, Meha had come to see Sri Gosaiji. Sri Gosaiji asked him, "Will you stay at home or come with me to Srinathji Dwar?" Meha replied, "Oh Maharaj, I would like to come, but I will bring my Sri Thakurji with me. Otherwise, please tell me what you would like me to do." Sri Gosaiji said, "By all means come with us." Meha returned home. He thought to himself, "What shall I do with my farmland?" In the village was one man of Gaurava caste, and he was a good man, so Meha put him in charge of his house and land and proceeded to Gokul with his Sri Thakurji and his wife. After a couple of days, Sri Gosaiji set out from Gokul to Nathji Dwar. Meha and his Sri Thakurji and wife also arrived there. Sri Gosaiji showed them to a room in the corner of the cow enclosure, and after tidying and cleaning it, they began to live there. They made a place for the Annakut offerings and made a temple out of clay. For the beloved Sri Thakurji, they prepared offerings for him to the best of their ability. Sri Gosaiji had come from Gokul together with Sri Navneet Priyaji and other 7 Swarupas served by his family. Sri Navneet Priyaji enjoyed the worship of the Govardhan hill, and the 7 Swarupas enjoyed the Annakut offerings with Srinathji. When Meha had the holy sight of Srinathji's Annakut, he was overwhelmed and experienced the Lord's divine presence directly. Full of love, he returned home, and then his wife went to have their holy sight. She also had the experience at the direct divine presence with the Annakut pastime of the Divine Lord. Then she also returned home, and the couple lovingly celebrated the occasion with their Sri Thakurji. They had the direct experience of their own Sri Thakurji, and thereafter Meha sang this composition in Sarang Rag. In Sri Krishna's words, "Our true Lord is the Sri Govardhan mountain where the Lords live happily. Now do not worship Indra by giving him such importance. Do as I say. Fire, wind, the moon and water and the sun actually all function according to Govardhan's command. He is the true Supreme Lord. Why should we give thanks to Indra? He, Mount Govardhan, is surrounded by the residents of Vraja. They all plus the animals and pets live here happily. Now get together and bring bullock carts to fill with our fresh offerings. This is the right thing to do. Who can argue with this? The elders sit and discuss the matter. They decide, surrender to Mount Govardhan. We should do whatever that Krishna, son of Nanda, tells us. The Vrajvasis gather up all their butter, milk, yogurt and ghee and take it to offer to Sri Govardhan. Seeing this withdrawal of his worship, Indra commands storm clouds to gather over Vraj. The poet Meha now sings, "My Lord, son of Nanda and granter of joy," then lifted up Sri Govardhan on his finger and held it there for Vraja's protection. Pada Rag Saranga. The next composition. "Oh, listen, Father, to my opinion. Worship Sri Govardhan. Whatever preparations you had made for the sacrifice of Indra, bring them all here. Sri Govardhan is an ocean of all rewards. He provides us with roots and fruits. In fact, whatever we need. We live here day and night, and here my cows roam fearlessly. Fill up large earthen pots with butter and yogurt. Make endless nectar-filled preparations. Fill huge plates with sweets and dried fruits." The elders decided to do as Krishna instructed. They made a mountain of endless varieties of preparations and offered them to Sri Govardhan. The Lord said, "This Govardhan hill is my crown jewel. He assumes many forms and always protects all my Vraja residents. Of all gods he is the greatest, and I love him very much." Nandanandana then himself assumed the form of Sri Govardhan and accepted all of the offerings. The poet Meha now says, "In this form, the Lord who uplifted the mountain directly asks for whatever he wants and accepts those offerings happily." Meha sang numerous songs about the Annakut festival. He lost awareness of his body and evening came. His wife was also absorbed in the pastime. One other Vaishnava saw their conditions and reported it to Sri Gosaiji, who came there himself and whispered into Meha's ear, "Oh Meha, what's new?" Meha came round and prostrated to Sri Gosaiji. Sri Gosaiji told him, quickly take the offerings from in front of Sri Gosaiji. Sri Gosaiji told him, quickly take the offerings from in front of Sri Thakurji. He is still sitting up. Then he left. He bathed and went to the temple on Sri Giriraji. He sounded the conch and started the afternoon services. He completed all the evening services too and then came down from the mountain. He served Mahaprasad to everyone there. He also partook of Mahaprasad together with the 7 sons. Sri Gosaiji then took Sri Navneet Preji and the 7 Swarupas back to Gokul. Meha took his leave of his guru and returned home to Gopalpur. Sri Gosaiji granted his great grace to Meha in this way. Part 2. After some more time, Meha's wife became pregnant. Just around her delivery date, Meha was called to Mathura to help settle a clash in his family. They believed he would be able to settle the argument. Meha told his wife, I must go to Mathura. If your child is born, you will not be able to make seva, so what should I do? Meha's wife piped up, my stomach is not hurting yet. Complete our Lord's seva for today and then leave without delay. Meha completed the morning services. He facilitated the Lord's rest and partook of Mahaprasad. He then completed the evening seva and told his wife to be careful. He left for Mathura. He completed his duties there by night time. He said to everyone, my wife is about to give birth, so I must leave now. They all said, it is the middle of the night. It is cold. You will not find a boatman at this hour. We cannot let you go, therefore. Stay for some more days. Meha replied, I shall have to get up early in the morning and leave. If you have anything else for me to do, then let me do it now. He stayed the night in Mathura. Back in the village, Meha's wife gave birth a few hours into the night. She was very upset, thinking, this wicked child has now come, and I shall not be able to make my Lord's morning seva. She began to cry. Sri Thakurji felt unable to tolerate her sadness and said to her, don't cry. I cannot sleep. You can do your seva in the morning. The wife replied, but how can I make seva? I am in a hellish state. Sri Thakurji instructed, take cow dung, take cow urine and some chalk powder. Clean your body with it. Bathe thoroughly and tie a cloth securely around your lower body. Put some charanamrit powder into your mouth and perform your seva. This is my command. Do not worry. Sleep now. There will be no obstacle to your seva by doing this. She stopped crying. In the morning after she bathed, 7 times after rubbing herself with the purificatory items, she took some charanamrit in her mouth and proceeded to awake the Lord. When she had completed all the morning services up to the Lord's afternoon nap after lunch, she lay down on her bed. Over in Mathura, Meha began to set off on his way home, but his relatives begged him to stay another night, or at least until the evening, saying that they had something else for him to do. He stayed another couple of hours until everything was sorted out, and then left, taking the boat from Mathura on the other side. It was the afternoon. One man had come there from Gopalpur. Seeing Meha, he said, congratulations, your wife has given birth to a son. Meha was annoyed and said, where did this wicked child come from who must have disturbed our Sri Thakurji's seva today? He ran from that place and managed to reach Gopalpur in an hour. He came home and said to his wife, is Thakurji still waiting for his seva? I should bathe immediately. The wife said, she had completed Sri Thakurji's seva up to Rajbhog. Meha lamented, what kind of hell will you go to by touching Sri Thakurji right after giving birth? The wife told him, Sri Thakurji ordered me to do so, so I did. Meha did not believe her. He said, Sri Thakurji would never say that. I am really annoyed. How would he ever say this to you? He took a stick to beat his wife. Sri Thakurji saw this and stopped Meha, saying, why are you beating her? I instructed her to perform this seva. It is you who left me and went off. Who could then do the seva? Any fault here is entirely yours. Meha supplicated, O beloved Lord, please forgive my stupid mistake, but please tell me how it is that you told her to make seva in this condition. Sri Thakurji replied, in the night she began to suffer terrible pangs of separation. I could not tolerate her sadness, and so I let her go ahead with the seva. If you have a problem with this, you can clean your seva environment and restore the cleanliness, and then you can dress and adorn me yourself and make the lunchtime offerings. What reason can you possibly have for beating your wife? She made the seva on my personal command. Meha then prostrated before his Sri Thakurji and apologized over and over again. O Lord, I am sorry. I have behaved very badly. Please forgive me. Meha then bathed and started to restore the purity of the seva, the Bhav Prakash. Here it is taught that Vaishnavas should follow Sri Acharyaji's instructions to the letter, about seva to the letter. Sri Thakurji will be pleased by this. However, if Sri Thakurji himself gives a specific instruction, then one should comply. It can never be an obstacle to one's devotion. Part 2 continued. Meha bathed Sri Thakurji with water from Sri Yamunaji and completed the seva from Mangala to Rajbhog. In this way, Sri Thakurji greatly graced Meha and his wife. We conclude the reading for today here and will continue tomorrow. Part 3 of Varta 136. Aaj ke Anand ki jai ho. सब वैष्णवों को सदैन्य सप्रेम सादर और सनम्र जय श्री कृष्ण। श्री गोसाई जी की जय। जय जय श्री राधे।